Congratulations through in the top 8. You must be very pleased.
Very pleased. Job done, and job done in the manner and the way that we wanted. At the end, winning in a convincing way and a really good position.
You were made to work a little bit tonight. What's your assessment of the game?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be tough. I think we started the game really well, then conceded that game, and then it's not easy in Champions League to turn the game around. But we generated some big chances, some big open chances, missed a penalty. We were a bit lucky because it could have been a draw in that moment on the offside decision. Overall, very happy. I think we're very consistent.
I have to ask you about the man of the match. Nervous.
He doesn't. He never does. He's so composed, so calm, so confident about his ability. And when you can see that at 17, starting the Champions League and score a very important goal is not very common.
You finished 3rd out of 36. Some big teams finishing below you. What's the feeling about how far you guys can go? How much confidence does that give you into the knockout stages?
It shows a lot of consistency and quality in what we delivered in the first 8 games. Playing home and away, I think, is been very similar. And hopefully more confidence and belief for the team that we are a really good team, that we can compete with anybody. And I think that's a big thing in this competition, to really have that trust in yourself.
And you can go far.
I hope so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
They go out of the competition, but as Owen says, a great effort for them in the first place just to get into the Champions League this season. So let's take a look back at the goals then from this game and wrap things up, because we were talking about the fact that Arsenal hadn't conceded a goal from open play in this competition, and then this went and happened, and it was just a bit of a weird one, wasn't it?
Yeah, defensively, you know, looking at Partey, his body shape, and then Kivior coming out, it's an area that he shouldn't really do, turns his back on it, Partey, and then it goes through the middle of the Arsenal team, the goalkeeper there in a crazy position. You know, I put this down to, you know, you're making lots of changes to the personnel in each compartment, and then Calafiori keeping him on side there, Danjuma running through and scoring. So that was from a defensive point of view from Arsenal, it was a bit of a disaster for them, but they regrouped, got back into the game, and thankfully the goalkeeper there didn't touch that, because they're down to 10 men at that point. It would have been an absolute disaster and another game where they're an uphill task.
Can you criticise the goalkeeper in that situation at all? Because I'm just wondering, from an Arsenal perspective, Mikel Arteta said before the game that David Raya actually got an injury, which is why he didn't feature tonight. Is that a concern?
Well, it would be if you're missing Raya. You could argue he's been the best goalie in the Premier League this season. I think he'll criticise no pressure on the ball first. You know, Trossard maybe could press a little bit better. They're a bit too open in midfield. Partey takes his eye off Danjuma, and Kivior steps into midfield where maybe Jorginho could fill in there as well. So I think Mikel's so sharp. He obviously, the goalkeeper might get a bit of criticism, but there's lots of parts before that lead to that happening.
That was Neto's Arsenal debut tonight as well.
Yeah, but Neto, that's the normal position for the goalkeeper. He's advanced. He's waiting for the one ball that goes over the top.
He just got caught in no man's land a little bit.
And it's one of those, like, you know, Kivior, for instance, you know, like I'm trying to organise that barrier in front of me. I don't really want to wander into that area, because quite often the space you vacate, somebody flies into, and that's what happened. So their shape gets a little bit disrupted. But it's players who are not playing a lot together. Partey's not really a fullback.
But he's got him there, Martin, isn't he? He's got him, he sees him in his eyes, and then he turns his back on him.
He can't see him.
It's fine margins, it happens. I've played there. But the thing is, you can't lose sight of Danjuma there. You've got to keep your eyes on. Once he turns, it's an actually brilliant run from Danjuma. Kivior is slightly out of position, and then obviously the goalkeeper's in a bit of no man's land. But again, Mark makes a good point. Mikel wants the goalkeeper to come off his line, but he's probably just caught, you know, in that space. So I think Mikel, they could tidy that up. But again, Mark makes a great point. There's a lot of these guys don't play together all the time. There was probably only 3 of the starting 11 that played tonight, so thought it was a good performance considering.
Arsenal equalised from the penalty spot. Let's take a look at the incident that led to that, which again was just a little bit of an odd one. What's he even thinking here, Owen?
I don't know, Martin's a centre-back. He's better at tackling than I was.
It's his ego, isn't it? I think he thinks he's not getting past me, but he forgets he's in the box. and he kind of just puts out a lazy leg. And it's like, you know, that's just crazy.
I love the fact he tried to deny it as well and say he didn't do anything.
Of course he did, yeah. But this guy does it, Jorginho does it really well with his penalty, this little jump. Oh, and you've got a little theory, haven't you, that he's almost got to go to that side, isn't he? He can't go
I think with that hop, and then I think you have to, it's easier to go that way rather than come across your body. I'm amazed by that technique. I don't know how the lads do it. We used to just get up and just smash it into a corner. These lads they got all these little routines and runs.
Aren't they?
Let's take a look at the winner because on his first Champions League start for Arsenal, Nwaneri, this is just perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I love it when a young player, just produces on the night. We build him up at the start,
I love
saying
that.
what a great talent he was. And look, there's anger in that, but control as well. He's whipping that into the corner. You see lots of players now coming into that area. The goal seems to open up for these left-footed players on that right-hand side of the pitch. And he's got the ability, hasn't he, it makes that look really easy there.
But the remarkable thing about him is the ball sticks to his foot. It's never away from him. I don't want to say who it reminds me of because it put a bit of pressure on him, but he's a special player.
Can I just draw your attention? Sorry, I was
I know you were looking at it, Jules. I know you were looking at it.
No, just to see who Arsenal's potential opponents are in the round of 16. You can see them on screen now. Juventus final, PSV and Milan. Wow.
Win. They'll beat all of them. They're better than all four of them, definitely.
Confident, Martin?
Well, respectful, because, there's a couple of teams in there with good pedigree in this competition historically, but I'm confident Arsenal can go through to the last stages.
OK, Martin, Owen, thank you very much. We wrapped that up rather quickly, but we are not completely done. That's all from us, but you can see the reaction from Spain as well as all the other 17 matches. There are tons of goals to see, and all the reaction is coming up for you next on Goal Show Extra. It promises to be really fun for the next hour.
OK, folks, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
You guys sent in some pretty exciting stuff this week. Looks like we're going to be talking about Arsenal.
Yeah, big win, huh?
Huge win. Their Champions League victory. And we've got some excerpts here from a text about the game. And basically what we want to do is figure out not just how they won, but like what it means for them going forward. They had some big challenges coming up, right?
Yeah, I mean, what's really interesting here is this wasn't just any win. It was like a total nail-biter, back and forth, momentum swings, the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. I read that they were actually losing at first. I was like, how'd they even come back from that?
Yeah, it was a tough start. There was a bit of a defensive error early on, and Girona's Arnaut Danjuma, he snuck one in.
Oh, wow.
And get this was actually Girona's only win of the entire Champions League run.
Wow. So they really brought it, huh?
Oh, yeah. They were fired up for sure. But what really impressed me was Arsenal's resilience. They didn't just fall apart after that. So just before halftime, Jorginho, he tied things up with the penalty kick after a foul on Partey.
Okay. So they tied it up, but where'd the winning goal come from?
All right, so get this. It came from a 17-year-old player, Ethan Nwaneri. It was his first Champions League start.
Wait, 17 years old? Are you serious? That's unbelievable, especially in a game like this.
I know, right? It's
Yeah.
not something you see every day, that's for sure. I mean, it really says a lot about his talent and, Arsenal's faith in their young players,
Yeah, for sure.
But even with that lead, the second half was still pretty intense.
Oh, yeah. I read something about a disallowed goal.
Yeah, Girona almost tied it up again, but it was called back for offside.
Oh, man. That must have been heartbreaking for them.
Yeah, huge relief for Arsenal fans, so.
I bet. And I also heard that Arsenal missed a penalty kick that could have, sealed the deal.
Yeah, Raheem Sterling took it, but just couldn't convert,
Wow, so many twists and turns.
It was a wild one, that's for sure.
So this was obviously a big win for Arsenal, but what are the bigger implications here?
Well, for starters, it secured them third place in the league phase,
Okay.
with 19 points, which is pretty solid. But more importantly, it means they get to skip that two-legged playoff and go straight to the round of 16.
What's the big deal about skipping the playoffs?
Oh, man, it's huge. I mean, imagine playing this really intense match and then having to travel for another one just a few days later.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to juggle other tournaments, too. It's brutal. So this lets them rest up some key players,
Right.
come up with a game plan for the next stage and focus on the Premier League. And of course, there's that psychological advantage, too.
Like knowing you're already one of the top 16 teams in Europe.
Exactly.
Whoa.
One step closer to the championship.
Wow.
As for Girona, they put up a good fight, but their Champions League run ends here with just that one win.
Okay, so big win for Arsenal on the field and off the field.
Absolutely.
But now they're facing Manchester City in the Premier League, and that's a whole other story, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a whole different level. This win definitely gives them momentum, but Manchester City is a top-tier opponent. It'll be the ultimate test to see if Arsenal can really keep up this level of play.
Yeah, can they compete for that Premier League title? That's the question.
Exactly. It's all about consistency now.
Yeah.
They've shown they have the potential, but can they maintain it against the best of the best?
That's what our listeners got to think about.
For sure.
Well, this has been a wild one, guys. A thrilling win for Arsenal, a breakout performance from young Ethan Nwaneri, and a major step forward in the Champions League.
Yeah, definitely one for the books.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.